it in, didn't he?
Clerk will call the roll.
Glenn Whitley, County Judge.
Here.
Roy Charles Brooks, Commissioner Precinct 1.
Present.
Andy H. Wynn, Commissioner Precinct 2.
Here.
Gary Fickus, Commissioner Precinct 3.
Here.
J.D. Johnson, Commissioner Precinct 4.
Here.
Constitutes a quorum.
Thank you. Our invocation today will be delivered by Pastor Mike Roberts from the Harvest Church, Fort Worth. After the invocation, please remain standing for the pledges. Thank you very much for coming out today.
Good morning. My privilege. Let's pray. Lord, thank you for the honor and privilege to be here and pray with this court and for this court. Lord, I thank you for Judge Whitley and his leadership and these commissioners. Thank you for the dockets that they face on a constant basis, and Lord, the way that they address them. Lord, today, as every day, we would ask specifically for wisdom. We need your wisdom and we need clarity. We thank you for everything that's on this agenda and everything that it represents and everything that you want to do in and through it. Lord, thank you for our country. Lord, we lift up our president and we lift up every branch of our government, the legislative, judicial, and executive. Lord, we also pray for the men and women that defend our country and fight for our freedoms right here on the streets of Fort Worth and to villages of Afghanistan. We want to say that we're privileged and honored to get to be a part of all of it. Lord, you say if we commit the work to you, that you'll establish our thoughts. So, Lord, everything that's on these papers, everything that's on our computers, we commit it to you. Lord, thank you for this court. Lord, thank you for this judge and commissioners. Now, Lord, I ask that you would bless them in the same way you used them to bless us. I ask that you would bless them and encourage them. May this be a great day as we progress forward for your glory and for your honor. And we ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Pastor Roberts, thank you for coming out today. We appreciate it very much. Mr. Manius, agenda announcements.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we have various agenda announcements this morning. First of all, under the proclamations, resolutions, and presentations, item 6A, which is a Toastmaster International, there is a revised court communication that is in your red folder this morning. Also, under proclamations, item 6E, there is a revised court communication that is also in your red folder as it deals with that particular item. Under the Administrator's section, item 8A24, which is the out-of-state travel request, there is a revision. There was an incorrect date, and we've corrected that date on that particular item. And then finally, members of the court, under briefing, which is item 11A, the strategic planning discussions, we are going to consider that after close today. And then I missed one additional announcement, members of the court, and that's under the Administrator's section. That's item 8A1, which is any action concerning the appointment of Tarrant County JP Precinct 2. That will also be considered after close today. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Court members, you have before you the minutes of our regular meeting of April 16th.
Move approval. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. We have several proclamations and resolutions today. And so we're going to start with the Toastmasters, and David McAllister, one of Toastmasters International Directors, is here today. No, he's not here, but she is here. Come on down. And I apologize if you will, if you'll introduce yourself.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. My name is Mary Lee Mims. I'm the Lieutenant Governor Marketing of District 25.
Well, Thank you very much for coming out today, and go ahead with your presentation.
All right. Thank you so much, Judge Whitley. The purpose of my visit here today is to present our Corporate Recognition Award that Toastmasters International presents to entities that show exceptional support to our organization. As an overview of Toastmasters International, for those of you who are not aware, we are a nonprofit organization. We're in a member. We've got over 13,500 clubs, more than 280,000 members, and we're in 116 different countries. Our mission is to help individuals improve their communication and their leadership skills. Each year, each district is allowed to choose an entity that we can honor. District 25, Tarrant County is within District 25, and because of the way Tarrant County in the past has supported our organization, we would like to recognize you today. There are 3 clubs that are within the Tarrant County employee structure, 4 that meet actually downtown. There are additional clubs that meet in outlying areas for a total of 7 clubs that you allow us to use your facilities. You've also allowed us to do officer trainings and our speech contests, which are all integral parts of our education process. So at this time, if it would be all right, I would like to ask Judge Whitley to come down so I could present this award.
Oh, my goodness.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for that presentation, and thank you very much for all your organization does. It is a tremendous organization and one that really helps folks to be more comfortable at speaking and to help with that. And so I appreciate very much what your organization does and the way it helps folks. Commissioner Wynn reminded me, you may want to silence your phone if you haven't. I know we've got a number of folks here today, and so if you haven't, you might want to silence your phone at this time. I might ask that we receive and file the presentation from Toastmasters.
So move. Second.
We have a motion and a second to receive and file. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Next, we have a resolution regarding the National Day of Prayer, and I believe Vicki Phillips is here, who chairs who is the event and chair coordinator for Tarrant County. And if she'll come forward, I'll read the resolution into the record. Whereas the National Day of Prayer has great significance for us as a nation, as it enables us to recall and to teach the important role that prayer played in the lives of our founding fathers as they sought the wisdom of God when forming this nation and when making a decision that would affect our nation and the lives of the people. And whereas national days of prayer for our nations predate the founding of the United States of America, evidenced by the Continental Congress's proclamation in 1775 setting aside a day of prayer with the belief that prayer was a vital foundation in every endeavor in life, especially in forming a nation. And whereas in 1952, both houses of Congress unanimously passed a joint resolution establishing an official day of prayer signed by President Harry Truman. And whereas Congress permanently designated the first Thursday in May as the annual National Day of Prayer, and the law was signed by President Ronald Reagan in 1988. And whereas in April 2011, the U.S. Court of Appeals, 7th Circuit, upheld the 1952 Congressional Act proclaiming the annual National Day of Prayer to be observed in our nation. And whereas the theme for the 62nd Annual National Day of Prayer is Pray for America, and the theme scripture is Matthew 12:21. In his name the nations will put their hope. And whereas the National Day of Prayer remains a call for us to humbly come before God, seeking his guidance and wisdom, and praying prayers that will affect the future of our personal lives and our nation. And whereas we ask God to watch over our nation, give us his favor and blessing to protect our people, our liberties, and those who serve us at home and abroad, as well as families of those serving us, and may the outpouring of prayers produce continued blessings, prosperity, and wisdom for our leaders on our land and in its citizens, and secure the future for generations. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners' Court of Tarrant County, do hereby recognize Thursday, May the 2nd, 2013, as the 62nd Annual National Day of Prayer in Tarrant County. In witness whereof, we've here to set our hands and cause the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 30th day of April, 2013. I'll move its approval.
Second.
We have a motion to second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you so much. Judge Whitley and Commissioners, it's such a pleasure to be here with you once again this year. We see each other this time of year every year, and what a joy it is to live in a county and a community that supports prayer. You know, we've had a lot of things that have been happening across our nation, and it's time to step up the prayer. And so that's exactly what we've done in Tarrant County this year. I don't know if you've noticed, but if you drive down Main Street, this year for the first time, you will see red banners going all up and down Main Street calling our community to prayer. We're also doing some other new things this year. We're having a huge event at Burnett Park on May the 2nd from 11:30 until 2. And we've got people from all different areas. We've got representatives from youth. We've got the Texas Boys Choir that will be there. We've got a wounded military soldier. We've got leaders. Natalie will be representing your office there, reading your resolution. We've got the color guard from the Sheriff's Department that will be there posting the colors. And so we want to thank you for all of that support and let you know about a new program that we're going to be doing that could affect you as well. And that is in the little bags that I gave you. I put some cards so that you can look at them later. But we're going to encourage our citizens to take an active part in praying for you as our leaders, praying for our national leaders, praying for our state leaders. You know, when we pray, it changes us first, and then it changes our surroundings. And so we're going to ask people to adopt a leader for 1 year. I know I did this with the Fort Worth police officer myself, and after that 1 year, he became like family to my family. We're still the closest, of friends. And so my goal is to try to encourage other people in the community to do that. We want them to sign up to adopt y'all. They can adopt any leader that they want to. And then after praying for 1 year, we're hoping to have a banquet where the leaders come together with the people that are praying, and we start talking about some of the differences that those encouraging words that they send you, the cards and the letters and the prayers have made in your lives and the job that you do every day. So more prayer, less problems. And I want to just recognize real quickly the people that are involved in my National Day of Prayer task force that are here. If y'all would all raise your hand and just wave at them so they can see you. And I also especially want to thank Ginger Ziegler and Embracing His Grace, because they are intercessors over me and over this whole initiative. Thank you so much.
Vicki, thank you very much for being here,
thank
for being
you.
such a part of this
Thank
over
you.
the years. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Commissioner Brooks, I believe you have a proclamation for Txu Energy Aid.
Yes, for over 30 years, Txu Energy Aid has provided great support to our Human Services Department and to other agencies in helping the poor to keep their lights on. And we just want to say thank you this morning. So if you would read the resolution into the record.
Thank you. Whereas this year marks the 30th anniversary for the Txu Energy Aid Program, the largest bill payment assistance program among electricity providers in the United States. And whereas Txu Energy Aid has provided more than $78 million in bill payment assistance to qualified low-income customers, helping more than 435,000 Texas families since its inception, and earned the 2012 National Fuel Funds Network Award for Outstanding Achievement. And whereas contributions from Txu Energy allow Tarrant County funds to be leveraged 5-to-1, with 100% of dedicated funds going toward families in need. And whereas Txu Energy is contributing an additional $5 million to be used in 2013 for electricity aid, which will be important during harsh summer temperatures. And whereas Txu Energy's commitment to service goes far beyond providing electricity, it also invests in the communities it serves through programs that help consumers pay their electric bills during times of financial need, contributes to the economic development activities, and improves the health and welfare of thousands of people every year through corporate donations and the generosity of its employees. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby proclaim Tuesday, April 30th, 2013, as Txu Energy Aid Day throughout Tarrant County and recognize the difference Txu has made in the lives of families. In witness whereof, we heretofore set our hands and cause the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 30th day of April, 2013.
I move approval with an editorial comment.
I'll second.
That being that if all of the other energy providers licensed to do business in the state of Texas would follow Txu Energy Aid's example, we'd have a lot easier time supporting our citizens. We have with us this morning Mr. Patrick Johnson, Supervisor for Txu Energy Aid, and I understand a number of other organizations that have been beneficiaries of TXU's largesse. Would you stand?
Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Welcome.
All right, welcome. Thank you. First, I'd just like to say thank you for making this Txu Energy Aid Day in Tarrant County. Thank you for Judge Whitley and also Commissioner Brooks for allowing us to come down and be a part of the Commissioner's Court. First thing I just want to say in the past 10 years, just to say what these wonderful agencies that have showed up here today have done. They have helped with $11 million within Tarrant County, helping over 56,000 customers with bill payment assistance. So that's just within the last 10 years what Txu Energy Aid has done to help our customers here in Tarrant County. And I just want to say thank you for allowing me to come here and receive this award today. Thank you
very much.
Commissioner Wynn, I believe you have an appreciation, resolution of appreciation.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to invite Judge Linda B. Davis. There she is. You're too young to retire. May I proceed?
You sure can.
resolution of appreciation, Judge Linda B. Davis. Whereas Judge Linda B. Davis began her career with Tarrant County over 23 years ago as the very first jury administrator when the Board of District Judges appointed her to be in charge of all jury operations for the district, county, and justice of the peace courts. And whereas she designed, developed, and implemented the one-day, one-trial jury system that won a national award for Tarrant County. And whereas Judge Davis is respected and recognized throughout the state for the model jury system that she designed and set into place for Tarrant County. And whereas she was elected in November 1998 and took office as Justice of the Peace in Precinct 2, Arlington, Texas, on January 1st, 1999. And whereas she created a model Justice of the Peace Court for Tarrant County, which is a source of pride for the citizens and the county administration. And whereas Judge Linda B. Davis has left a legacy not only as Justice of the Peace, but also as jury administrator, which had an impact on all those who worked with her and will continue to impact Tarrant County residents who find themselves participating in the jury systems and in justice of the peace courts. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby recognize Judge Linda B. Davis for her 23 years of distinguished service to the citizens of Tarrant County, in witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 30th day of April 2013. Judge, will you please come forward?
We're going to move the...
And I move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion to second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. And while we're hugging, we might recognize, we're not going to hug the judge, but we might recognize her husband, retired Judge Fred.
Oh, this Fred.
You might not retire. Yeah, y'all come on up and get wherever you want. Anne's been replaced today. She doesn't have prayer. All right, we're done. Kind of like Christmas time at the house. You know, there's just one more picture. You like to just sit right there? Just as long as you don't get comfortable there. Just as long as you don't get comfortable there.
Well, y'all got me all choked up now. But I do want to say something. I want to say that these 23 years, it has been an honor and a privilege to be part of Tarrant County government. As I've traveled through the state teaching and going to school, I hear stories from other judges about their relationships with their commissioner's court. And I always take great pride in telling them how supportive you are of the elected officials and the employees here in Tarrant County. Y'all have always given me the tools and the staff that I've needed to run my departments. I'm very grateful. I'm very humbled. And y'all are just the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Linda, it really is employees like you and many others who started as employees and then become elected officials, but just really have dedicated their lives to public service. And we cannot tell you how much we appreciate everything you've done to make this a better place to live and to raise a family and to just enjoy yourselves. So we hope you and Fred enjoy retirement. And maybe you can get her out now and y'all can travel a little bit, Fred. So we appreciate that. Next, Commissioner Fickus, I believe you have a proclamation for the Community Enrichment Center.
For Community Enrichment Center, this was presented Saturday evening, so we want to ratify this, so I move for approval.
Second.
We have motion and second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Fickus, I believe you, Commissioner Johnson, I believe you have a resolution regarding Texas AgriLife.
I do, Your Honor. If you would read that into the record, please. And let me ask Nancy Curl, AgriLife Master Gardener or volunteer, to please come forward.
Whereas volunteering of one's time and resources is an essential part of the spirit, essence, and tradition of our country, and is increasingly recognized as a key partner of government, education, and industry in doing the work of the nation. And whereas it is ever more in evidence that our nation's greatest resource is its people who possess many skills and talents which they generously and enthusiastically apply to the variety of community tasks, and whereas volunteers have shown that they truly care and share generously of themselves, such as Nancy Curl, a graduate of the 2007 Master Gardener class and president of the Tarrant County Master Gardeners Association for 2011 and 2012. Nancy was also named Master Gardeners of the Year statewide in 2011. Additionally, Nancy gave over 1,000 hours of volunteer service in 2012 and served as a Master Gardener Specialist in plant procrastination. Yeah, that's not right. Propagation. I knew it as soon as I got it out. It wasn't procrastination.
I'm not sure what that is that you said, but you can probably do it.
You know what? I think I'm just going to continue. Greenhouse management and rainwater harvesting. And whereas the giving of oneself in service to another empowers the giver and the recipient. And whereas the people of Tarrant County benefit from the deeds of these selfless, dedicated individuals. And whereas volunteers are vital to our future as a caring and productive county, state, and nation, now therefore be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, do hereby honor and thank the dedicated volunteers of Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service, who give so freely of their valuable time, energy, and abilities to serve the people of Tarrant County. In witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 30th day of April 2013. Nancy, thank you very much.
Move for its approval.
Second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Commissioners, thank you very much. I am just one among many, many Master Gardeners. We have an association here in Tarrant County of almost 400 members with a regular monthly meeting attendance of about 200, 250 people regularly. So on any given day, you will find a Master Gardener somewhere around Tarrant County doing some education or working in a garden, whether it be a community garden, a school garden, or helping a garden club with their education. Even at the Botanic Garden, we do a lot of collaboration with them as well. So we appreciate the support that you give us. We appreciate the support that we are given at the Resource Connection from Judy Ketchum as well. And we certainly appreciate Dana Tartar as the Director of AgriLife. So thank you for this recognition, and we appreciate it.
Thank you. Our next proclamation is the Vietnamese National Day of Mourning. I had an opportunity Saturday to attend this observance in Grand Prairie, and you know, it's very moving. I think this is the 38th anniversary of the fall of Saigon, and as Americans, I know we sometimes take for granted the freedom that we enjoy. It was mentioned in the prayer. It's been mentioned in other proceedings this morning about the freedom that we enjoy. And we've often heard that freedom does not come free. It's because of folks who are willing to commit sometimes their lives, but certainly sacrifice, the ultimate sacrifice their lives. During the Vietnam War, we lost over 58,000 Americans. But the thing that I think we sometimes fail to see is that the Vietnamese lost over 3 million. They were in conflict. They were fighting to maintain their freedom for over 40 years. And on this day, 38 years ago, they lost that fight. And they continue to observe, and I think the thing that's most important about that is that it's an opportunity to remind those folks, the children as they grow up, that there was a time when South Vietnam was free. And hopefully sometime in the future it will be free again. And as long as we can continue to tell that story, then when that day comes, there will be a great celebration as opposed to an observance of a day of mourning. So with that, thank you, Tom.
We have so many distinguished guests as well as heroes who are present here this morning. Today marks the 38th anniversary of the fall of Saigon, and I want to thank you, Judge, and fellow commissioners for supporting this very important endeavor. And Judge, I want to thank you as well for taking on the task of reading the proclamation. And the reason, and I'll be honest, the reason I asked you to do that, sir, is because I'm afraid I would choke up. So I really do appreciate that. First of all, I'd like to recognize some very important elected officials or representative of such elected officers who are here with us. Mr. Raz Schaefer with Senator Ted Cruz's office, Michael Taylor with Congressman Joe Barton's office, Devin Allen with Representative Chris Turner, Constable David Woodruff is here, certainly Judge Fred and Linda Davis, Mayor David Cook, where is he? Oh, he's over there. Mayor Pro Tem of Arlington, Ms. Catherine Wellman. She's some here. Mayor Luis Garcia. Yes, he is. Mr. Ron Wright. Constable Clinton Burgess. And Anne Marie Craig with Senator Kelly Hancock, also with you. And I also would like to recognize the representative of the Vietnamese community of Tarrant County, Mr. Luan Nguyen, the chairman. I'd like also to recognize two former county judges in Vietnam. As I told you on Saturday, Judge, being a county judge in Vietnam, you are short-lived. And these two men survived until today, Mr. Zhao Li and Mr. Zhao Nguyen. And we have many officers and soldiers of the Republic of Vietnam Armed Forces here with us. And among them include several individuals that it will take a long time for me to introduce everybody. So I'm just going to introduce one of their representatives. Mr. Tien Pham is a major in the battalion and battalion commander of the Vietnamese Marine Corps. And Your Honor and Commissioners, we also have several members of our Tarrant County family who are here with us. They either served in Vietnam or they have family members who served in Vietnam. And it's not really a long list, but it will take some time. Please allow me to make sure that we recognize them properly. County employee Claretta Bell, whose brother is David E. McLemore, died in service on March 21st, 1967. He served with Charlie Company, 2nd Battalion, 35th Infantry Regiment. Sergeant David McLemore died in the service of his country in Con Tum Province, Vietnam. He was 20 years old. From Fort Worth, Texas, the decorations he earned include the Combat Infantry Badge, the Bronze Star, the Purple Heart, the National Defense Service Medal, the Vietnam Service Medal, the Vietnam Campaign Medal, and the Vietnam Cross of Gallantry with Palm Unit Citation. We have Selena Castillo, whose father served in Vietnam, Mr. Polo Castillo. We have employee Harry Kading with the Sheriff's Office. He served in Vietnam in the U.S. Air Force. We have Linda Collins, who works with the Tarrant County Criminal Courts. Her husband, Thomas Collins, served with the U.S. Army.
Mr. Collins, stand up. I see you back there.
Who was an E5 U.S. Army bandsman. He served from September 22, 1973 to September 21st, 1976. And he is a Precinct 7 constable office employee, right? We also have Johnny Evans, county employee Johnny Evans with facility. He was a petty officer, 2nd class, served with the U.S. Navy in the River Division 515 from October 1968 through October 1969. He was a boat captain the last 4 months of his tour. We also have veteran Leonard Grant Harris, Lieutenant Colonel, U.S. Army, served from 1970 to 1973. He has since passed away, but had already retired from service. We have Danny Jordan with Community Supervision Counselor number 2. I'm not sure he's here or not, but he did serve here. We have Paul Mansky with CSCD, was a colonel. Is Mr. Mansky here? We have Gary Perkins, also with the U.S. Air Force. Is Gary here? We have...
I think he may be outside there.
Is Gary here? We have Facility Supervisor Judy Powers and her family. Her father, James E. Richardson, served in Vietnam. And I believe he was a sergeant, 1st Infantry Division. Mr. Mike Adair with the DA office, served with the U.S. Marine Corps from 1966 to 1967. We have D.D. Kern and 3 brothers. He has 4 brothers, and 3 out of 4 went to Vietnam, 2 in the Navy, and 1 in the Marines. His oldest brother has passed away now because of things that happened to him during the war. I'm not sure if D.D. Kern is here or not. We have Tommy Rick Maiden, the U.S. Marine Corps in Vietnam, 1966 to 1967. He served in the 2nd Armored Division in 1971. He's from the 150th Mech Infantry in 1971. We also have Chris Tucker from facility. His father is Edward Lee Tucker. He passed in 2007. We have Gary Wade. Is Gary here? So, thank you, sir. We have Sharon Wiltshire. Her father, Richard H. Young, served in Vietnam. We have Brian Blackington in IT, served in Vietnam. Is he here? In the jungles of Thailand in 1966 as an Air Force engineer. Mr. Tim Jones, purchasing senior. Buyer, also served during the Vietnam era. We have T. Bay Herschel with Tarrant County Narcotics Unit Commander, also served in Vietnam. We have Jeff Toller with WIC. His father, Mr. Darwin Toller, served in Vietnam in 1968. That was a hot year. Mr. Arthur Lozano, brother, served, his name was Matthew Lozano Jr., U.S. Army 1969. He is the sole surviving son. His only brother, Matthew Lozano Jr., U.S. Army, was killed in action after being in the country for only a month, in Vietnam for only a month. Steve Doan, U.S. Marine Corps.
There's that phone.
U.S. Marine Corps from 1972 through 1974. He was a master sergeant and retired from the U.S. Marine Corps. Mr. Ken Phan, also an employee of Tarrant County, served in the Vietnamese Air Force. And Mr. An Trung served as an officer in the in the Republic of Vietnam Air Force. He is an investigator of the District Attorney Office. And we also, Commissioner Fickus' cousin, Captain Tommy Ehrlich from Maybank, Texas, who was killed in August 1966 as a Green Beret. Thank you, Commissioner. I would like to invite Mr. James Richardson, representing the veteran of the U.S. Armed Forces, served in Vietnam. Come on forward, sir. Mr. Luân Nguyen, representing the Vietnamese American community of Tarrant County, and Mr. Tom Ha as well. I also would like to invite the representative, also members of the Executive Committee of the Alumni Association of the National Military Academy of the Republic of Vietnam, Captain Tuấn Văn Ngô, Captain Hữu Nguyen, Captain Hiến Nguyen, and Lieutenant Hung Nguyen. Last, but certainly not least, I'd like to recognize some very important people in my life who have given me everything for me to be here. My parents and my parents-in-law, and also my wife.
Before I read the resolution, one of the things that I would like to say, and I try to take an opportunity every time I get an opportunity to speak, is to first off recognize veterans, but then especially to recognize veterans of the Vietnam War, and to apologize to you for the way you were treated, many of you were treated as you came back to America after that war. You were called by your country, you did your duty, and yet you got caught up in a political debate which you should not have had to be any part of. Again, you did your duty, you fought for freedom, and we appreciate that very much, and you deserve the same hero's welcome on your return as does any veteran when they're coming back from a war. And we appreciate very much that, and we appreciate and apologize also to those folks who came here from South Vietnam after the war in an effort to be able to continue to enjoy the freedoms. And again, we also apologize because you likewise got caught up and saw a side of America that we really wish no one would have had to have seen or observed at that point in time. So again, thank you all, and I want to read the resolution into the record now, and I will apologize for my mispronunciation ahead of time. Whereas the fall of Saigon on April 30th, 1975, marked the tragic end to a heroic defense of freedom in the Republic of Vietnam, where over 58,200 Americans and more than 3 million South Vietnamese soldiers and civilians were killed as the free world struggled against the expansion of communism in Asia and throughout the globe. And whereas during the last days of the war, many members of the Republic of Vietnam armed forces chose death over surrendering to life under communist rule, including Major General Nam Quo Nguyen, Major General Phu Van Phan, Brigadier General Hung Van Ly, Brigadier General V. Nguyen Ly, Brigadier General Han Van Trong, and Colonel Con No Ho. And whereas after conquering South Vietnam, the Vietnamese Communist Party imposed harsh dictatorial rule and prosecuted freedom supporters, and about 100,000 Vietnamese were executed and 1 million imprisoned in hard labor camps where over 165,000 died. Whereas to seek liberty, as many as 1.5 million Vietnamese escaped Vietnam, approximately 500,000 died during their escape to freedom, and over 600,000 were accepted into the United States as political refugees and asylum seekers. And whereas refugees and immigrants from the former Republic of Vietnam who settled as free Vietnamese Americans are honored and remembered for their sacrifices for freedom and human rights and for their ongoing contributions to the greater Tarrant-Dallas County area, Texas, and the United States. And whereas we must remind our children and future generations important lessons from the Vietnam War, including how the plight of the Vietnamese refugees followed the end of a war, serves as a powerful example of the values of freedom and democracy. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we, the Commissioners' Court of Tarrant County, do hereby acknowledge the great tragedy, suffering, and lives lost during and after the Vietnam War, and further that we hereby proclaim April 30th, 2013, and every April 30th date thereafter as the Vietnamese National Day of Mourning, known in Vietnamese as
Ngày Quốc Hận,
and the Vietnam War Day of Remembrance throughout Tarrant County, and encourage all public entities of Tarrant County to observe this day in solemnity and reverence. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 30th day of April, 2013. You'll move the approval, okay, you want me to go,
Let's do the second one, and then we'll move forward.
okay. Resolution of recognition. Whereas General Yahi Long Zakido was born in the Ben Ta, South Vietnam on June 12, 1929, graduated from the Republic of Vietnam's National Military Academy of Da Lat in April 1952 and was assigned as a first lieutenant in the 3rd Airborne Battalion in 1954. And whereas the Vietnam War expanded, he performed his duty with gallantry and honor, rising to a brigadier general with the 18th Infantry Division in 1966 and major general of the Ranger Force in 1975. And whereas in April, refusing invitations to leave for the United States, General Doe and members of the Ranger Force carried out their order to defend Saigon, standing their ground until April 30th, when they received the presidential order to lay down their arms. And whereas he was arrested in May 1975 and sent to hard labor camp by the Vietnamese communist regime during the imprisonment for 6,095 days until he was released in May 1992. And whereas on October 1993, General Doe, his wife, and 6 children came to the United States, where they currently reside in Garland, Texas. And whereas despite the extreme hardships of war and imprisonment, General Doe remains gracefully loyal to liberty and the men who fought to defend it, now therefore be it resolved that we, the Commissioners Court of Tarrant County, on the occasion of the 38th anniversary of the fall of Saigon, do hereby acknowledge the selfless sacrifices that Major General Doe, members of the Republic of Vietnam, and the United States Armed Forces made in contribution to the stability of the free world. And further, that we hereby recognize and congratulate Major General Doe and all veterans of the Republic of Vietnam and the United States Armed Forces for their courage, tenacity, and faithfulness in the defense of freedom and democracy, in witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Tarrant County to be affixed this 30th day of April, 2013.
And I'll move for the approval of the proclamation and the resolution.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Sergeant Richardson, would you like to say a few words, sir?
Would you like to make any comments?
Vietnam was a very brutal and for our fault, as you put it, needlessly. I served in the 1st Infantry Division. I was wounded and I was hit in the head by shrapnel. And spent over a month in the hospital. There was 36 of us went to this one infantry unit. 6 of us made it back alive, and which is a tragedy. And I hope someday that Vietnam will be united in freedom again.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Mr. Tom Hawk.
Good afternoon, the Honorable Judge Whitley and on-time County Commissioners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On this once-a-lifetime and for the first time in Tarrant County, on behalf of the Vietnamese Americans in the county, we thank you and we commend you for taking the right step to recognize April 30th as the Vietnamese National Day of Mourning, Ngày Quốc Hận. As stated clearly in the resolution, April 30th is the day to remind our children and future generations the important lesson from the Vietnam War, of which freedom and democracy although abundant and readily available here in our country, were dearly paid by our founding fathers and continue to be paid with tears, blood, as of today, by countless American heroines and heroes. We Vietnamese Americans are witnesses and are also direct victims of one of the darkest chapters in the history of Vietnam. As such, we are thankful for the ultimate sacrifice of more than 58,000 American servicemen and women who came to fight on the same battle with us, but returned wrapped in the Star-Spangled Banner. We look back at this day of 38 years ago, not to dwell in it, but from it we will promote and work for justice, peace, happiness, and hope for all Americans, and especially for our compatriots who are dwelling in the hell created by the Communist Party of Vietnam. The scars left in the hearts of many Vietnamese veterans who come here today in front of you, unfortunately, will never be healed because they were so deep and so wide. That is why this resolution is so important to these heroes, because we now have friends who not only understand our hurt, our pain, but also recognize those scars as medals of valor and courage. I believe that it is county in the hearts of these Vietnamese American veterans, those deep scars are now worn proudly as medals. And these medals could only be understood by friends who share the same values and together looking to a better future. With that, I want you to receive from many of us our many sincere thanks from the bottom of our hearts. And God bless America.
Officer Hint, representing the Executive Committee of the Alumni Association of the National Military Academy of the Republic of Vietnam.
Cao thưa Chủ tịch. This is my first time using English as the main way of communication to the public. So, and I hope I pass the cultural barrier to get to my point. So let me start the easy way by introducing myself. I am a member of the former cadet of the Vietnamese Military Academy Association based in Dallas, Fort Worth, and most of us present here today in the 20th class. But our general there, he's in the 5th class, a senior long time before us. And as Cao also talked a little bit about his history, 17 years in the prison camp. It's not an easy way to imagine how hardship he had to pass and coming to the United States for freedom. So I am here today serve as the representative to receive your offering as an honor, and we will present to him later. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I would like to invite all of you to come onto the bench and take a picture with members of the court, please. Oh, Lon, you would like to come on? Okay.
He already talked.
Y'all come on up. You did a lot better than I did. be a long time before we see you again. Okay, is everybody ready? Is this it? Okay, let's break. Thank you. Thank all of y'all for being here today. We appreciate it very, very much, and we appreciate your participating and taking part. I think we're gonna take just a short recess, and then we'll start back in just a couple of minutes. Where are we supposed to be? This was a long one today. Now we'll start our business. And court members, you have before you our consent agenda.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the court, a week ago to item number 2 under the Administrator's Office, we're asking that the court approve interim financing for anticipated grant year 2012 grant renewal for HUD as it relates to Samaritan House Supportive Services.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Members of the court, this is, item number 3 is also requesting interim financing for the same grant year from HUD as it relates to grapevine relief and community exchange.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And then finally, members of the court, on item number 4, this also is interim financing. Same grant year, it's for HUD. It relates to Cornerstone Assistance Network.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Tidwell?
We have 3 items for the court's consideration this morning. The first item is to receive and file the auditor's report related to jury service reimbursement for the 3 months ended March 31st, 2013. This is a report that we prepare on a regular basis that I don't believe we've brought to you before. It's just an item on the agenda today to let you know that there's various audits that we do or audit procedures that we do that sometimes don't result in an actual written formal audit report, so you won't be seeing this every quarter, but we put it on here for your information and just for your knowledge that we do look at other areas. You'll see some more like this, but in this instance, we're actually looking at what jury service is paying and reporting it, and then the county, of course, is reimbursed.
Move approval to receive and file.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our next item is to ask the Commissioners Court to consider approval and awarding of the recommendation for Tarrant County's Depository Bank. The county received 2 proposals, one from the Bank of America and one from J.P. Morgan Chase. Chapters 116 and 117 of the Local Government Code specifically address the county's banking arrangements and how those are to be handled. The committee consisted of representatives from the county auditor, the tax assessor, the county clerk, the district clerk, and the purchasing agent. You have before you our recommendation, which is to award the depository contract to J.P. Morgan Chase.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And our last item, it's requested that Commissioners Court receive and file the Tarrant County financial statements for the 6 months ended March 31st, 2013.
Move to receive and file.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Mr. Phillips.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It is requested that Commissioners Court approve a contract with Intercon Environmental to abate the asbestos-containing materials in the old Civil Courts building at 100 North Houston and Fort Worth.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
David, Mr. Phillips.
Almost got away.
Yes, sir.
Did I read something correct in the newspaper, which we know could sometimes maybe not be correct, but what's the total cost to take that building down now?
Total cost, I expect it to be, Commissioner, about $10 million.
Okay.
That's in 4 different stages.
Huh?
That's in 4 different stages, and we're in stage 3.
Does that include the renovation of the west side of the historic courthouse?
Yes, GK, that includes the full turnkey, moving utilities, rebuilding the west elevation, landscape improvements, the 45,000-gallon cistern, the whole thing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Glenn.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I have 5 items for the court this morning. The first item, we're asking the court to receive and file the personnel agenda.
Move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 2, we're asking the court to approve a waiver of terminal benefits for County Criminal Court 1. The court coordinator is retiring at the end of May with 400 vacation hour. Judge Hill is requesting a waiver effective June 1st. The estimated fiscal impact to the general fund is a little bit more than $10,700.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our third item, we're asking the court to approve a revision to the table of organization to reclassify 2 administrative clerks, a vital clerk records positions in the county clerk's office. This revision is being requested so that the county clerk can properly staff the new location at the Charles Griffin Sub-Courthouse. We're estimating cost savings to be approximately $7,600.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our fourth item, we're asking the court to approve a revision to the table of organization to reclassify a senior programmer analyst position in information technology. This reclass will result in administrative support, additional administrative support to leadership in IT. Cost savings to the general fund is estimated to be approximately $11,200.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
And our fifth and final item, we're asking the court to approve revision to the table of organization to eliminate a print shop supervisor position and to reclassify 2 positions in facilities management. These changes support the transition to digital graphics and printing. The cost of the reclasses will be approximately $5,500. However, that shall be more than offset by the savings of the elimination of a position, which is annually funded at a little bit more than $43,000.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wetzel? Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Hope your day is going well. I have one item for the Commissioners' Court to consider today. I'd ask the Court to consider approval of our web portal and social media strategic roadmap, including the estimated 36-month deployment plan, the 10-year life cycle cost pro forma, and the proposed FY13 mid-year staffing and budget request to allow us to move very quickly with a great sense of urgency towards accomplishment of our objectives, which would be kicked off immediately. This has been approved by the IT steering committee and fully endorsed and approved by the e-governance subcommittee.
I move approval. I believe that each one of you, we've discussed with each one of you the features and the reasons for the urgency in doing this. It will allow us to better serve our public in a secure way, in ways that they choose to do business with their government, which may be in the middle of the night from their bedroom with their fuzzy slippers on. It helps bring us into the modern world. Without this, we've got no shot.
You're painting some pretty pictures there.
Pretty visual.
It's my job.
And I'd like to add that the Budget Office has vetted the pro forma, and you are in agreement with the pro forma, right? Correct. Thank you.
I'm taking that as a second.
That's a second.
We have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Judge
Wetzel.
Whitley and Commissioners.
Thank you.
Go forth and sin no more, Mr. Wetzel.
Ms. Brewer.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Public Health has one item for your approval, and this is an amendment number 2 to the fiscal year 2013 Public Health Department fee schedule.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Beecham.
Your Honor, other members of the court, we have 4 items for your consideration this morning. Our first item is a bid award recommendation for bid 2013-056. This is an annual contract for United States, Texas, and Tarrant County flags. A recommendation will be toward a per unit price basis, awarding to the primary, secondary, and alternate vendors meeting specifications as shown in court communique.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Item number 2 is another bid award recommendation for bid 2013-057. This is our annual contract for miscellaneous medical supplies and disposables. Recommendation will be toward a per unit price basis, again awarding to the primary and secondary vendors meeting all specifications as shown in your court communique.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Our number 3 item is also a bid award recommendation for bid 2013-062. It's our annual contract for installation and removal of guard fencing. Recommendation would be toward a per unit price basis, awarding to Van Eli Incorporated.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Last item also was a bid award recommendation for bid 2013-065. It's our annual contract for electronic fire alarm, fire and sprinkler alarm inspections, backflow preventer testing, maintenance and repairs. Recommendation will be toward a per unit price basis, awarding Section 1, the sprinkler inspection and repair to the primary, secondary, and alternate vendors, and Section number 2, fire alarm inspection and repair to those primary, secondary, and alternate vendors.
Move approval.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Brooks.
Thank you, Your Honor. I've got 2 interlocal agreements, one with the city of Forest Hill and one for the city of Crowley. I move approval of items 8, 1A through D.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, to approve items 8L1A through D. Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Fickus.
Yes, I have interlocal with the city of Haslett to perform work on Westport Parkway from Schoolhouse Road to the Westport property line there. Item A and D, and I move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, to approve item 8L2A and B. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Commissioner Johnson.
Move approval of item 8L3, A and B.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, to approve items 8L3A and B. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Are there any appointments? Being none, then you have before you the claims, including the addendum.
Move approval of the claims, including the addendum.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, to approve the claims, including the addendum. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Briefing items. Mr. Manius.
Thank you, Your Honor. Members of the Court, we have one item to bring to you this morning that concerns the legislative issues Mr. Mendez has included in your folders or in your court backup his memoranda. This is for a 2-week period. Just a few things to point out. First of all, as many of you have probably heard, the water bill is in dire trouble. There was a procedural question raised, and it was killed in the House. And this dealt with taking $2 billion out of the rainy day fund. The governor has vowed that if they can't find a way of doing it in this session, that he will be calling them back into session to deal with the rainy day issue. Also, because we are now going into the last 3.5 weeks of the session, various rules begin to apply as far as when bills can be read and heard. So we're playing a tremendous amount of defense down there. And then finally, the sine die date is May 27th. Be more than happy to answer any questions or attempt to answer any questions that the court may have.
Any questions? No, good. Anything else at this time?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Then we will recess our open meeting and proceed to closed session to discuss items exempted under Section 551. Good thing you had the speaker. Good thing you had the speaker on back there. I'm ready if they are.
We're ready.
Thank y'all.
Clerk Court, if we could go to the administrator's section, item 8A1. This is action concerning the appointment of Tarrant County Justice Peace Precinct 2. We have this agendized, and the court would like to take action on this at this time.
To take the place of Judge Linda B. Davis, who basically set a golden standard for JP courts in Tarrant County, I nominate Mary Tom Cravens Conant to be the next JP of Precinct 2 until the next election cycle, in which the voters of Tarrant County, namely Precinct 2, will have an opportunity to confirm that decision, that nomination.
I'll second that nomination and just say that we had a lot of great applicants. In looking at the resumes, certainly there was a very wide degree of support from the community for Mary Tom. She's been very active in the community, and I think will represent that community very well in that interim time frame.
And I like to echo my sincere appreciation to all the applicants who have expressed interest in this servant position, especially those who are here today. And you have not made it easy for me to weigh my option, but I think the difficult part was because there are so many qualified candidates, and many of them are quite similar in qualifications and so forth. But ultimately, I believe that Mary Tom would be a good, effective JP, and she would make a good public servant.
Any other discussion, comments at this time? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Ms. Diamond, do you want to, I think we appoint now. At this point in time, she must be bonded.
And I didn't catch the last name of the appointee.
Kernert.
Kernert. Okay. I will attempt to contact this person. I don't know if they're present. Okay. Apparently, I'll be able to contact them and let them know that they will need to bond. It will take at least a week if everything goes perfectly to bond. And hopefully everything will go perfectly. As soon as the bond is available and the commissioners have approved it, then they will be ready to be sworn in. Meanwhile, we'll get the statement and the oath paperwork together. So I don't know if she is present today. No. Okay.
No.
All right. I'll contact her.
And then Judge Davis, you get to stick around until such time as she takes office. Is that correct?
The judge, Judge Davis, still has authority until the swearing in of the new judge, or the other judges can work together to pitch in. However it is that they're going to work that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you, Ann.
Members of the court, the DA's office has 4 additional items.
All right, the first item is cause number 067263716-13, Randall Moore and Tammy Moore versus Tarrant County, requesting authorization to settle this lawsuit with payment in the amount of $195,000 to Randall Moore and Tammy Moore and Allgood and Cartwright. We're requesting that this, and also that the court be authorized to sign the settlement agreement and authorize the county auditor to pay this claim without first appearing on the claims register for approval by this court.
So moved.
Second.
We have 2 motions and a second, so y'all figure it out. Any other discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. With regard to the second item, we're requesting authorization to sue Tommy Rosales and the owner of the car, if we can locate such person, for accident involving Tarrant County where we are the plaintiff.
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. With regard to item number 3, we're requesting authorization to sue Robin James for a tuition reimbursement claim. She is a county employee. Former county employee.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please vote. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, with regard to the last item, we have learned that CSCD has reimbursed us for this tuition, something we didn't know and closed. So,
really?
So we will be doing some additional talking to them about what they want us to do, what they need to do. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to do some additional talking about what we want to do ourselves.
Members of the court, if we can go to the briefing items, just a quick comment on one of the briefing items. This concerns the strategic planning activities that the court and the county are going to be participating in. Several weeks ago, we talked a little bit about the fact that we wanted to maybe do some of that strategic planning in June of this year. We have 2 vendors I believe are qualified, and we've given those vendors' proposals to you all. Because this is going to take somewhere between 8 to 10 weeks to do this strategic planning, because we're about to enter into the budget season and there's other activities that we're going to be involved in, we're going to request that we begin this planning process in September. We'll be able to put the contracts together, so we'll have the consultant on board so that they can begin their prep work. But rather than do this in the middle of June, probably around the 1st of September, we'd like to start that process. I'd like to have comments from the court if you'd like to have any comments. If not, I will promise you that we will move forward on that and begin in the September time period.
When are we planning to select the vendor?
I'd like to do that within the next 2 to 3 weeks. I was hoping I would get some feedback from the court members. We'll send you those proposals. If you'll give me your comments back, and as I said, then we'll negotiate the final price and we'll make a recommendation to the court.
I do hope that we can finish the process, and I know we're looking at 10-plus weeks. I hope we can finish the process before we get to Thanksgiving, because I think if we don't, then we're right then in the middle of the holiday season. It's going to be much harder to wrap that up.
Judge, I agree with you, and after looking at those those proposals, I believe that some of that legwork can be done prior to September by those consulting firms, and so we can get into the heart of the strategic planning process in the September time period.
And I have reviewed those 2 proposals thoroughly, and in my opinion, I think we need to select the advisory group because not only because of their price, they're less than the other, but I think they can provide us with more comprehensive set of services that we will need down the road.
Is
It's
that
not
the
only,
cheaper of the two bids?
yes, sir. It's,
I will tell you, though, before we talk about the price issue, we want to firm up both of those prices. As you might recall in my email that I sent to all the court members, to not necessarily focus on the price piece, but to focus on the qualifications piece. And, you know, we'll do a best and final with both of them and then get you that information.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like both groups had a lot to offer, but I really want to define exactly what the end product is for the cost that we're talking about.
Yes, sir.
As we go through that process.
Yes, sir.
To echo the judge, the full scope of the strategic planning process include the planning part and then the implementation part. So we need to make sure that we look at from A to Z, not just the planning piece,
right,
so that we have that continuity toward the end objective.
Absolutely. I understand.
One other thing, I mean, I do understand the move to move that forward. I do want to, and I've actually had some conversations with the auditor's office. We've talked about looking at the cash positions, establishing, making sure we're all comfortable with the cash reserves that we have in the different areas. And I'm going to try to have prepared for the court by June the 11th a presentation on cash reserves. And then, and the end result of that, beginning of that preparation, would be a discussion of where this court feels like the reserves need to be for the various things: self-insurance, workers' comp, property, different things that we have, general fund reserves, just so that we've got a feel for what we feel like that needs to be as we kind of move forward. And so hopefully by June the 11th, we'll be ready to make a presentation to the court coming out of the auditor's office. Renee and I have talked a little bit about this. Laura is going to be working on that also. And so, but that'll be kind of the starting point of giving this court the information that they're going to need to discuss and to see what you feel comfortable with as far as cash reserves and stuff goes. And that should happen on. And I would like to get that done before we enter into the budget discussion, because that will give us a better feel for exactly what we're talking about as we enter our budget discussions.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You bet. Anything else at this time?
Not at this time, sir.
Thank you. Then we're adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you. GK.